Good morning. Welcome back to the stream. Today on the menu, as usual, Doom to Annie. Last time we were actually pretty close to wrapping up the final mechanics of the map. So we're going to continue that today. I think we were trying to figure out how the elevator works again. And once that's finished, I think the map is in a playable state from start to finish. So let's try to get it done, and then hopefully in a short time we can actually start populating the map. I think we were about to begin with the elevator. It's been a while, so I kind of have to figure out how this works again. We got a map spot here, which I think was important. Thing destroy. What is this? What has tag 11? I think it's everything that is within this sector gets killed. I think it's to make sure that when the door closes, nothing blocks. I think we got that figured out. Okay, so what is this then? Actual intersector, okay. Activate once only, that's good. Tech 14. Let's see. Thing. Tech 2. I have to look at the script. Okay. Tag 1. So we block the players. Tag 4. Let's copy this. Two. by value. Okay, let's check it out. I think this one. Lower by value. 12. That's weird. Floor lower by value. Floor lower. Ah, wait a minute. Of course. We have to do this one. 15, I think. 12, yeah. 15. Okay. 15. Set line blocking, line ID was 4. Thing destroy. And the tag for this one is 16. Let's see, lower by value. I think these are the same values. Floor raised by value. Hey Festus, good day. Welcome. How are you doing? Good to see you. Floor raised by value. 14, I think. Yeah. Teleport in sector. I think it's 14. Source ID. Destination. Okay, source. Oh, okay, vacation. Okay. Where's she going? Oh. Oh. Is it let me quickly look. It's like Eastern Europe, right? Or like, is it? It's not. Well, it's not part of. Was it part of Europe? Jesus, my geography is east of Turkey. Okay, okay, okay. Well, I knew it was to the east, but okay. That's an interesting destination. We went to Montenegro. Beautiful. Very, very nice to walk, to hike. We climbed the highest mountain. We think we spent about 9 hours in total. was insane. Trails are, yeah, they're maintained. They're, I think we spent like 10 days, but on 3 different locations. So not every day was hiking day. I think we did about 3 hikes, but very beautiful. Trails are very well maintained, yes. And like there is like a path for the most part to the highest mountain, which is actually very good to walk on. It's easy. The most difficult part is of course the last few hundred meters. We actually have to do actually some actual climbing. But that's the easy part. I think the hardest part in doing something like that is actually descending, you know, because there are a lot of loose rocks, which makes it pretty dangerous. No, it's well, the path is like it gradually rises, so it's you almost don't notice it, you know. And there are some sections where you have to kind of make a steeper climb, but not too many. For the most part, it's actually just like more like sand roads, you know. They're small, but they're, you know, easy to. Yeah, we actually climb a wall. Well, there actually. It was pretty steep. Like you have to go straight up vertically. So you have to climb different rocks. You have to actually just find these points because it's not really. Though it's pretty, like there are some cables attached to the walls, to the rocks, for the most part. So it's not too difficult, you know, if you have like a basic condition. Like, let's say if you have, well, let's say like a good stamina, you know, it's actually very manageable. There are spots to hang on to, yes. Yes. But it's definitely not like the most touristic attraction because you can actually, there are a few points, like we started at the very bottom. So it's, I think it was like 12 kilometers in total and we did 9 hours. So, you know, with a few breaks in between, but let's say, well, you definitely like need 7 hours at least, which is a lot for 12 kilometers, you know. Yeah. It's not, it's actually, there are, yeah, it's true. It's true. Because we had like the app, it says you need an alpine experience, which is very broad, you know. It's, like what I consider alpine experience is that you actually have to, you know, bring some material, but usually it's not the case. However, there were sections like you had ropes for the most part, but there are parts where you actually have to really kind of look where you need to grab onto, because the walls, like there's a path that is kind of indicated by paint here and there, but it's you constantly have to look very good to be able to find them. So we used like a navigation app, which actually worked fairly well. But it's still like it's a fairly dangerous trip. Like there were climbs where I had to actually, like they were so steep that I had to raise my knee almost to my face. Hey, Tunes. Doing good. How are you doing? Okay, no problem. Teleport in sector 14. Source ID would actually be 1. Through Heroes 3, oh. I actually checked out the game. I don't know, let me see real quick. Which I actually just kind of took a quick peek. Let's see, where is it? Blade of Darkness. I'm kind of like, they're actually probably gonna stream that game, like a playthrough. Yeah. It's always funny when you see like a different language, yeah. And it's like, it's a retro game, obviously. It had like, I think, sort of like a remaster. But like on Good Old Games, I found like it's Dutch actually, Flemish. Dutch is more like Holland, but this is Flemish, which looks very much alike. Aside from you know, a few words or expressions here and there. But on Good Old Games, I found actually like I selected like a few very good games, and it came down like I had like 25 games for 50 euros, which is insane. And they're really like good, like 8 to 10 hour games. So I have this bundle which I still have to download, but yeah, definitely have enough material to play and stream for the coming years. Okay. Well, some of the languages, like for example, like you know, German, which also makes sense, of course, but some of the languages, you know, you can kind of, based on the context, you can kind of see what they mean. Like they resemble, well, it makes sense because it's a larger part of Europe. Like the language kind of resembles our language somewhat. But like Russian, for example, there is nothing in a Russian word I can, you know, see what would it possibly mean? What could it mean? There's nothing. Like same for Croatian, you know, like more like Eastern Europe. It's very, very hard. It's impossible, basically. Yeah. That actually is, didn't really think about it like that, but yeah. Yeah, that's actually very good. If you kind of like, yeah, very nice. It makes sense. Some of the words, like some of these you can indeed like, they kind of lean towards the like English language, but then other words that totally have nothing to do with it. You know, you can't really guess where they come from. It's kind of it's weird. Like Africa, I think some parts of Africa where there was like a Dutch colony. It's actually almost like fully readable Hungarian, I think it's also pretty hard yeah. It's very hard to see some meaning in the words, like which I can compare to our language. Very hard. Five. I have no idea, man. Probably not. See, like I used... see, they give like a thing ID, I use it here, and it doesn't take it into account. Yeah, true, true. Or like Italian, Spanish, or some words that kind of can make up, you know, if given enough context. But like Russian, it's I don't even like the letters; they don't even match. Like. Scripts. Oh man, that's hard. Let's maybe do like a 500 here. Jesus Christ. Source ID. Destination. That has to be 500. No, I have absolutely no idea if this will work. Probably not. Let's see if I can if I can make it here. Text 61. Text 0. It has to be 61 as well, no? Oh god, man, I feel like this is English or Spanish? Spanish, actually. Like English, of course, is most understandable for me, but it probably has to do because, you know, I have a better knowledge of English than Spanish, but like some words in Spanish I can actually, they kind of like, I don't know why, maybe because subconsciously maybe, I don't know. But some things in Spanish, like not everything of course, but some words I kind of, they resemble our language in some way. Heavily modified of course, but you know, given the context I can actually sometimes can make up what they actually mean or want to say. It's kind of, you know, languages are like, it's always find it very fascinating how many languages there actually are, while we're basically like, you know, the same species, so it's kind of weird. I would assume like an ant colony, for example, even if they are in different parts, you know, they're kind of like, yeah, language is something like, in the animal kingdom, it's very different, you know. I think it's consistent, more consistent. Maybe not as advanced, but yeah. Really? You know, who knows, maybe. Dogs, do they have different, like, different barks maybe? I don't know. Okay, let's, I'd say let's test it out. This would be a miracle if I could get this to work. I assume not. Oh, really? Wow, good, it's interesting. Okay, that does absolutely nothing. Which I would expect, maybe, yeah. Script execute. Probably I have to assign it a different script. Pipe elevator 2. Okay, so since we are here... Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not correct. How did I do that? Teleport in sector. Ah, I see. Floor raised by value. Oh, really? Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. Let's see if the demon actually travels along with us throughout the whole. Oh. Okay, so far so good. Yeah. way, no way. Oh shit. Okay, so I have to make sure this one. I have to make one adjustment, and then I think we actually got it to work. And attack 61, floor minus 428, and this is 320. $748. That is how much it needs to rise. To raise. Shit, what did I say? 720, right? See, that's why. Okay, let's test this first. Normally the monsters should be able to travel with us. It's required because actually I want to. I have very bad short-term memory as well. Extremely bad. Like I told my girlfriend this morning. Like she asked me something and in 10 seconds I lost it. What she wanted to ask, and I told her I have the memory, like a goldfish has a better memory. Well, long term it's actually okay, but short term it's terrible. So what I want to do here, why it's important to keep this demon traveling along with us, because it's a test, because I kind of want to spawn in some monsters during the elevator ride. And then we close it off again. Very good. The demon is still with us. Let's see if he... normally it shouldn't be an issue. Okay, and if everything goes according to plan, we should stop right there. What would it need? 1, 2, 3 maybe? 24? Thought I calculated it. Oh, maybe it was a different. Let's see. Minus 428, and this one is 320. $748. Okay, then because this is the last one, it's actually pretty. We should actually lower this. 109 tag weight, and then ceiling. So this one should be floor, lower to lowest. See if this actually works. So we can actually basically I always seem to forget where. No, wait, of course I have to start the whole sequence. You can't just jump in here. Because it messes up the entire system, so I have to do it like this. This was actually like the final hardest part. Okay. There we go. Travel. Everything goes according to plan. Very good. There is one thing wrong, and that is actually the tack. It has to be 61. I think, at least. Okay, one more try. What I do need to do is to avoid well, no. Okay, one more try. Then it should be like, it should work. Oh shit, sorry buddy. Okay, we're still with us. There we go. Now normally it's if it moves, it should be at the exact same spot. There we go. I mean, like, you know, it shouldn't reset to a fixed position. That's what I wanted to achieve. There we go. Now we get it. And that's it. And we can actually okay, so that works. That's all finished. We can actually start. Let's see. Can we make it like a nice... nice pentagram here. Ceiling textures. Alignment is a pain, especially when it comes to scaling. Some of them, they don't really scale properly. I don't know why. Ah, okay. I never played that, I think. Is that the only one? I can't really see. Think so, right? Does seem to look okay. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna have to let's only use this one. It's gonna be very bright in comparison to the rest. Kind of almost feels like, oh, let's see, can we fix this? We can maybe, if we use a ceiling glow. You know, actually, although wait, well, okay. So what is Heroes 3? Is it like an RTS or? That's weird. This should match. Okay, let's save this. I kind of want to have that. Whereas the orange lighting I used for... Where did I use it? turn-based. Oh, okay. Okay. Hmm. That is kind of the right. Okay, let's see how it looks. Oh, okay. I've actually have a game which I also kind of want to stream, Shadowrun. Which is actually, it's also turn-based. I never actually played turn-based games when I was younger, but it's it also heavily relies on dice rolls, which I absolutely don't like, because then it's, you know, for a large part mostly depending on chance. It's a very hard game, actually. Like, some parts are easy, and then you come like across something like where you have to face. Like, you can actually buy crews, but I always seem to be like short on money, short on cash to actually hire those, you know, allies, and which makes it very hard. Okay, let's give it one last whirl to see how everything looks. Yeah. It's 35. Okay. Haha. I'm not convinced. Like, there's too much of a shift, I feel. Okay. Pretty cool. Okay.
The preview you are about to watch is for a movie that is unlike any you have ever seen before. It is for a movie that goes beyond temporary fear to everlasting terror. It is a movie called Demons.
Eight towns. Whew. Hopefully, I'm gonna. Let me check it out real quick. Because I've been expanding my horizons when it comes to gaming. Like, been trying out, or I've actually gonna check out some RTSs as well. Oh, it looks nice. Looks very nice. Might have to give it a whirl myself. StarCraft, no. Actually, the RTS, there was only one that I really liked, and it was Dark Colony. That was the only RTS I played. I did have... well, no, that's not true, actually. I did also play Command and Conquer Tiberian Sun. But I think like RTSs, I feel like your choices, like in the very beginning, they can have very dire consequences, and then you don't really notice until you get overwhelmed, and like that means like you have to, like you spend an hour or maybe more actually trying to build your army, and then you basically like made a mistake by, I don't know, building the wrong units or like for example, one thing I actually what I did, and I think what's actually interesting, like in Dark Colony there is like a mission where you have to face, I think you have to destroy 2 bases. Because it's a human versus alien type of game. Looks very nice. I absolutely love it. And there's a mission where you have to fight 2 alien bases in the human campaign, that is. And there's also like there are human allies as well, but they don't do too much. Well, at least in that specific mission, which is of course, come to think of it, it was a little suspicious, right? And so I built an army. I pour every resources I had into destroying those 2 bases. So that means my army was located further away from the map. And well, I think most of my army, I only had like a few I kept around for, kind of like small defense. And the thing was, after you destroy those 2 bases, the human allies, that specific... well, how you call it? There are like 3 factions, but that specific faction of humans, they actually betray you and turn against you. And because my army was located too far away, my base got attacked by the humans, which I did not expect, of course. And then I lost the match because I couldn't get my army back in time. And those are the things like, it was such a waste of time. So what I did was actually... I kept the final alien base in the next term. I kept the final alien base just barely alive, right? Like 1 building left. And then I repositioned my army to surround the human base completely. And once I destroyed that final section, my army was able... Like I already... you can actually select attack ground. So I started to already attack with tank units. I started already attack the human base because they were still allies, considered allies, but you could still damage them. So I started attacking their army, and then after that they were weakened enough. I destroyed the last bit of the alien base, and then I could swarm them immediately. But it's something like you don't know in advance, and you could lose a lot of hours making choices that actually you cannot know what is going to happen, but so that's why I never was into the RTS genre, and I especially dislike multiplayer because I did one multiplayer match. I don't even remember what game it was. I think it was, well, it was a more modern RTS, but the other player used a cheat. So actually I managed to win, right? I invested in like flying units, and I just bombarded his base early on, and it actually worked. It was my first online match in an RTS, and he used a cheat, so I couldn't defeat. Like, even though every unit was destroyed, it still wasn't game over, and he just waited it out until I quit. Look, I didn't have too much time after that, so I ran out and I had to quit the game, which meant a loss for me. So that's that. Then I decided I would never ever play an RTS online again. And that really put me off. So I would do single player only. And I kind of like, you know, I don't like that like micromanagement, because if you look at StarCraft, like especially the professional players, they're just constantly tapping their keyboard constantly. They're not even enjoying the game, I think. And that's not fun for me. I kind of like this. I want to see the actual battles take place, you know, instead of constantly having to switch back and forth and building units and sending them over. Then yeah, it's not like you don't even. I don't think you can enjoy a game like it. You don't even get to watch how the battles play out because you constantly have to keep building. You have to go back to your base, and you don't see too much of the action. You just see it on the minimap. You know, you see your units moving in and. What? Ah. So that's why I'm not a huge fan of RTSs. What? To each his own, I guess? Okay, that's that. So actually, let's see if we can. Oh wait, I still have to make. Still have to make sector for pull the object here. Okay, we can actually no, we cannot remove that. Can join, however. Okay. And then we're going to widen this, reduce detail. But you know, like RPGs, for example, I think in my younger years, I was mostly a shooter fan. Okay. I know, PvP, just because of all the cheaters, it completely ruins it for me. I mean, I don't even understand what the point is. Like, you can never feel that same excitement of legally... Only with friends, okay. Yeah. Do we have a bot? I don't know why this circle is actually here. It's probably remainder. So it serves absolutely no purpose. You can just join them. Now, the hard part is locating the actual center spot. I think it's right here. No. This is the center spot. Yeah. And here. Okay. Let's see, so this is gonna be the player's start. And we want to orientate towards Let's go through there. Like that. Okay. So now. Oh god, we have to connect. All of these. I think that's why I did it. Because it has to act as one. Actually, like this. There. I think this is the way to do it. Remove the space. Oh, really? Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they sometimes sneak in. Hey, Full Circle, what is up? Welcome. GZdoom? Yes, absolutely. At least if that's what you meant. Yeah, true. I had it before. Like every now and then, like a bot sneaks in. Let's see. So the poly object thing. I think was Control Alt P. No. Okay. Yeah, it's GZdoom, and I tried to make the most of it. I'll can give you a brief overview of the map. It's actually should be playable from start to finish now. Well, without the monsters and stuff, but gameplay wise at least. Because I have to actually just do a whole run of it before I actually start populating, so to make sure that everything works as intended. Let's see, preference. Let's quickly see what the shortcut key is. Execute script, Control Alt P. Okay, let's use this one. Let's see. Poly object hurts to touch. There we go. Okay, that's good. Hey, what is up? Welcome back. Yeah, everything's good here. Thank you so much. I hope everything is good on your end as well. Start spot, anchor. Let's see. Okay, that is I think correct. Start spot should be in the player reach. There we go. And we're gonna pull the objects. Is it a new map? No. No, it's not a new map. I've been working on it for quite some time actually, but it's getting very close to release. Maybe, not really sure. Maybe you haven't seen it yet. But we'll go over it after this one. This poly object here is finished. We'll go over the entire map real quick. Did you have mod options? I think you had, right? Otherwise, I think Festus has mod rights, but I could give you them as well. Entrance mixer. So holy object, rotate left, right. 4 speed. There we go. That should work. Now the only thing that is probably not working is, and then we have to remove all of these. Not that one. These are placeholders. I kind of need them to determine the shape and the textures of the mixer blocks. There we go. Because they're gonna be ported over to here. They still look good, so that's okay. I'm not really sure if you actually were there, but like a few months ago we had like, I still think it's an AI. But it was so intelligent, like I constantly was doubting, is it a bot, yes or no? Oh, you were there, yeah, you remember? That was insane. And I think Festus, he thought it was an actual person. But I'm still not convinced, I don't know. It was so weird. If that was an AI, then holy shit, right? This might be a little too fast. But this is the starting point. Now, I don't have the Terminator teleporter portal active yet here, but that's really okay. Yeah, that is obviously, it goes way too fast. Okay, so we're gonna slow that down, no worries. The only thing is... wait, of course, I still have no functional doors. Let's see. Okay, let's try to avoid this. Okay, so we basically move through here. Yeah, these doors don't function yet. Does this one work? No, also not. This one I'm gonna probably... I need to make it like a 3D sector. It actually makes it swimmable. That's a secret. Okay, so you press the switch, this one opens, this door opens. And we can actually head down. This is probably gonna be a secret too. Yeah, it's probably, you know, I should wait to give you the full experience. 'Cause this is pretty confusing. You also think that was an AI? Ah, God, because I try to ask him questions. It really started doubting myself. Especially because he created like a new account. Well, you know, maybe, yeah. I don't know. One of the weirdest experiences I had during streaming, that's for sure. Let's see. There's absolutely not a door. Let's see what standard I used. Let's see what did I use here. Door generic. Movement speed 24, delay 4 seconds. Ah, maybe. Maybe. Speed 24, okay. Action 2. Then we need sector tags here. This one and this one. 110. Actually, these parts are actually very. They can go very fast. Door open. I want to stay open. 110, 24. Player presses use and the repeatable action. Okay. There we go. That's that. And what I want to do here, we can remove this key. Gonna lower this floor. Yeah. Let's give it a new tag 111. And I think let's see. Where is it? And 8. Once only. Okay. And then action. Floor. I got an itch in my ear. There we go. Floor. Lower to lowest, I think. Lowest floor. Sector tag 111 and the speed we're gonna use 8. Slow. Okay. Let's see. Normally. Oh wait. This door should also work. For repeatable action, player bumps. No. And this one, okay, a red key card, nice. This one should have a red key card as well, okay. Now the only thing is where I'm gonna put that red key card. Oh, wait a minute. It's already here, okay. Yeah. That's a very interesting, let's see if we can actually get it scripted, or do we have to script that fight? Oh, we'll see in a minute. Where is it? Where is it? Ah, here we go. Okay, so we can remove this one. And what I'm probably gonna do. Maybe cut it off a little earlier. Here, for example. Door red. For lock, red key card. Red key card. Okay. Let's keep everything consistent. Okay. Okay. think... let's see... Attack 34, okay. Let's see, we did script it. Door open. Okay. Let's see, these all have to have thing IDs. Do they? They have thing IDs 18. And we're probably gonna place, just to make sure, health and armor. Power up. I kind of want a berserk here, because you have to. You have to kill these monsters to be able to close again. Now, 108. Activate once only. And then if the player enters this region here, what I want to do is close the door. Close. Wait. Let's see, I think I scripted it somewhere. I did script it. Lab bridge lowers, submarine doors for access. Okay, apparently I didn't. That's weird. Okay, no worries. I should use monster race. Ah, wait a minute. Actually, after you grab this key, that was gonna require a little bit of work, but you know, for now, let's actually. I think it's still playable. This is a monster script, so actually we don't need it. I think we are in a playable state. Let's see if it works out. So you can actually have a look at the map. So I'm gonna use just without the keys. This is actually still should be a little slower maybe still. Okay, so yeah, the footstep sounds still need to be adjusted. For some parts it works. Ah shit, I forgot these. Okay, no worries, we'll clip through them then. The rest should work. Okay, that's that. Then we can continue here. And then it lowers. And actually one of the things I struggled with a lot, but which I finally got to work, was actually this part where it spews the yellow key. Look at that. One of the volcanoes erupts and throws a yellow key. That's pretty cool. And of course we get a couple of unwelcome guests here. And then we get a yellow key and we can travel upwards. So far so good. Everything goes according to plan. And that one, ah yeah, I need to open it with the switch. Red card, that's good. Okay, so we use the switch here. This one is actually a secret, which I still have open, but shouldn't be, but that also works. I tested it already. So we kind of follow the conveyor belt and we come across our first type of machinery, which we have to shut down. There we go. Actually, I think the most fun and most interactive map I worked on. We got another piece of machinery here. Too bad there's no melting animation, that would be really cool. But we shut this down as well. Okay, then this opens, which is all good. And of course this production line stops. This one is also friendly, I think. Okay. Lower the bridge. Bam, it turns green, that's pretty cool. Okay, and then actually we have a very nice intro here. So this is actually the pit. If you look close, you have to look really close, but it doesn't really matter. You can drain it. As you can see, it's like a giant flesh pit, and it reveals a couple of things. And this is actually the idea is that these monsters, they kind of resurrect after you pick up the red key. This door closes immediately. After you defeat these monsters, the door opens again, and you are free to proceed to the next area, which is right here. There we go. There we go. And there we go. It's kind of like a loop, which I always wanted to do in a map. Have these nice loops. I think God of War, the early games, they do it very, very well. Where they kind of reuse, you know, certain sections of levels later on. It's pretty cool. And then we are right here in the city. Let's see. Yeah, we cannot access this yet. So it's just like a teaser. What I really like about this is that it's, I'll still have to activate it, but it's a delayed poisoning. So you can actually walk inside without taking immediate damage. And not really sure. This is not an. This is not supposed to happen yet. To do that, you actually have to go activate a couple of switches right there. That's one, for example. Okay. And you know, this is actually, of course, still a bit of work here. There is the exit. I still have to do this. This door actually works. Okay. Now the blue key, I have to go back. Can I go back? This is still a maze for me. I haven't really played it too much. Here you can take a small break from the poisoning. Okay, so we're back up here. And then we can actually gain sewer access. There we go, that opens. Let's see. This is also a secret. Oh yeah, you have to shoot. No, one is hanging. Okay. We probably should use a plasma rifle here or something, I don't know. Here we go, and this one opens up, as you can see, and I think this is where I'll place the blue key. And then, you know, oh wait, I can actually show you the final part, because I think the elevator is working. There's also a secret here. If you look closely, you can drop down. Okay. No, that elevator's not working, so we have to clip it again. No clip, I mean. There we go. Okay. This door is obviously also not working. That's what happens if you split up sections, you know. You kind of lose track. Here is the exit. Well, almost exit. Use a little bit of Doom 2 textures here. Because I kind of want to keep them integrated into the mod. And we drop down here, sector portal. We drop in the mixer. And this is actually the final area, which I'm very proud of. It's actually a lot of fun to play. So we activate the switch. Probably going to use it like an earthquake. So we got two teleporters going on here, and then we got a barrel system to help you defeating the monsters. And here we got like a conveyor belt, which actually produces monsters, as you can see. And you're gonna have to fight them all. think there are 20 in total. And they're randomized. So you never know what you're gonna get. Each run will be different. With a bit of bad luck, you all have Barons. There's a rocket guy. And the fun part is, what I like about this this system, that's why I explicitly used like transparent windows, of course, that you can actually see what is coming up. You can use the teleporters to help you out. Like, shouldn't be too hard. Look at them. Well, you have to be careful though. There we go. You can get telefragged as well. Fortunately, I cannot introduce bigger monsters here. That's kind of cool. He's riding along with it. Oh, they do get stopped here. Huh. What do you know? Oh, it blocks monsters, that's true. Another one, Jesus. Gonna give me a hard time. The last one, and after the last one, a teleporter spawns in there, and you can actually exit the map, and that is from start to finish. The third map. So I'm gonna take a small break. Be back in a few minutes.
A picture of the future. Imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever.
Okay. Oh, I missed something, apparently. Nick, he's already gone. Too bad, but thank you so much for the raid. Should you view this at a later time. Gazebo, welcome. Good to see you again. I was actually wrapping this map up. Damn, that's too bad. I missed the raid. You know, I'll send him a quick message. Oh God. Okay, maybe later then. Hey Festus, welcome back. So I think I think most of the maps are actually tone it down a little bit. There we go. Mapping is actually going very well. I think when it comes to scripting, we have the map finally in a playable state from start to finish. I think most of the work is actually now doing like the monster scripts stuff. The final battle is already scripted. Let's actually write the script with the red key area. I could have sworn I had it somewhere. Oh, really? For fun? Damn. Yeah, it must be. Like, I wonder what the leap was like from a technical standpoint from Wolfenstein 3D to Doom. I mean, like, you know, visually it's a huge leap, right? But I wonder, like, how, like, engine-wise, I assume it would be even huger, like even more huge than just visually and graphically, you know. I know nothing about engines, engine programming, whatever. It's insane. Guesses, whoa, really? Wow. Wow, that's impressive. Yeah. So you did it like just for fun. It's insane. There is something here about this switch pipe switch raise. Ah, okay, I see. I understand. Very strange that I did not script that. Okay. Damn. Festus, I'd love to work with you on the game someday. You do the programming. I've actually been doing a little bit of research on assembly for the Game Boy specifically. And I feel like, you know, even though the tutorial or like the documentation is kind of directed at beginners, I still get lost along the way. Like I slowly feel like I can't keep up with you know, the text. It's and like, yeah, it's hardcore indeed. From what I understand is that you actually have to, it's like a way to communicate directly to the CPU on the very basic level, and you have to keep track of like all the registers and stuff like that, and like even the smallest mistake, yeah, it's insane. But it's very interesting, and the thing is, it's way more efficient than converting, let's say, C to actually a playable Game Boy game. It's not as efficient because it handles certain procedures differently, and that will, you know, cause slowdown. You have to take it into account, like working with Game Boy Studio. Yeah, true, indeed. Yeah, that is indeed what I understand from the documentation so far. But I think if you want to get the most out of the hardware, it's mandatory at some point to kind of learn it. Because I feel like I have, working on my game, I constantly like hit that limit of kind of that balance between performance, you know, and gameplay. So I have to constantly like I would like, for example, I would like to have a few more monsters in you know, on screen, but it causes slowdown really fast. So I have to be very specific and precise about where I have to think about where to place the monsters, what items to place where, you know. Yeah. And never heard of Odin before. C, I know. Then you have C++. I never really got into programming all that much, actually. Unfortunately, because I actually was interested when I was younger. But I think, you know, I probably deemed it too complex at the time to self-learn, self-study. At some point, we did have programming in when I was. Well, it's not high school, it's not university, it's something in between. Okay. And there we had like I was doing electromechanics studying, and there was actually a little bit of programming in there, which I thought was the most interesting thing. Actually, it was the thing I cared for most. Unfortunately, I never really pursued anything in the field of programming. But you know, you can accomplish a lot by self-study, I guess. I know with the internet being so accessible, I guess, you know, it's a little bit easier to find documentation or help for that matter. Okay. Wow. That's cool. I think, you know, I came across this discussion on X, I think it was, where people, like somebody put out a statement where they said like they wouldn't hire somebody who was self-taught because like they look for diplomas and stuff like that, but I think it's quite the opposite actually. Somebody who is self-taught and delivers great work, those are the people you want. Because they have the motivation already. Otherwise you wouldn't never be self-taught, right? Like I wouldn't, like if I were to find like people to help me out with my game, I would look in that direction. Yeah, there we go. Because formal education doesn't mean that you're actually that you have the talent for art or programming. Like you could have a theory which sometimes is also dated. You know, it kind of depends on who is actually teaching you. For a large part, I think. Yeah, true. Like, you still have to have that feeling, like the feeling that you learn by doing. True. You have to have certain insights. Like, just because you can remember a lot of stuff doesn't mean you can actually put that information to good use in practice. That's the difference. Like it's not what I mean that every student is bad at you know, doing things in practice, but it shouldn't be like, it's not enough. If you have like, if you have like certain, you know, theoretical background, that's, I think if you have that combined with a certain talent, you know, and a certain like view of handling things, then you're golden, right? But what I was saying is that people don't always need to have a certain degree or study to be able to do wonderful things. It's kind of like, you know, motivation is a huge part, and the will to experiment, to figure things out on your own. Because you can go to school, learn about something, close the books, and then be done with it. But if you are interested in something, really interested, you know, you do research by yourself as well. And you gain a lot of additional knowledge which you don't necessarily find in the books. And that will give you like a step ahead. But you know, it just came across it, and like the statement on X, and I thought it was actually nonsense. You know, that they just look at the diplomas you can present. Yeah, and you know, efficient programming, that's something else entirely. Because I feel that's the skill that is lacking in most games nowadays. Efficient programming. They just bloat it. Like you get these minor updates and they're like 500 megabytes. I think, like how? Like something simple, like I updated my stream deck from Elgato, right? This is just a device. Basically you have to press buttons to switch your scenes. One update with 2 minor features, 256 megabytes, for crying out loud. I think, how? And they just think, well, you know, you should invest in better hardware. That is the mindset nowadays. No, like id Software did it actually pretty good with Doom 2K16. That could actually run on pretty low-end PCs, and that's what I call efficient programming. Now there's probably like, I put it in a simple way, but there might be more to it, you know. But if you compare it to other games, like games that don't even like, they normally shouldn't require like a high-end machine. They just do because they're not efficient at programming. I think that's really interesting about like working with old hardware. You're forced to do efficient programming, because if not, your game doesn't run. And there's nothing you can do, like you can't upgrade. You can't like install, because it has to run on every system. You can't just install, like a Game Boy is a Game Boy, right? Modding, I don't think it's really widespread. So you have to make sure it runs on the original hardware, and that is a real challenge. And you have to, you have to learn to get creative and use your resources to their maximum efficiency. Like with a PC, it's different, because like I'm mapping right now, but I'm not mapping efficiently. Why? Because my PC is high end. It can run it. I'm not really sure if, like, I don't test it on other machines, right? So I'm not putting in the effort of optimizing this map. What I could probably do is, well, this map is in detail pretty simple, but if you look at Bridge Burner's maps, he has to work efficiently because they run slow even on higher end machines. So what he does is he actually creates like he textures maps, uses a lot of sectors, and then he actually makes it takes a screenshot. You can do that actually. You can create a texture out of this, and then you can actually use this texture and you can eliminate all the lines because the texture is, you know, it's like this. But I don't do that, so that will probably save, like, make the maps a lot smaller and better to handle. But of course, since my maps are not as detailed, I think I can get away with this. Yeah. One thing you could do actually is, if you use a lot of open scripts, if you come to a point where you don't actually, like for example these poly objects rotating, I could shut them down, like I could shut the script down. But now it remains open in the background. That is some small thing. Not really sure how much memory it actually would save. But you could shut all these scripts, you could shut them down. If you're not, you know, if you're not going to reach that area again where the scripts are being actually used. Oh. Okay. That's interesting. So what do you mean, like if you use too many they don't play? Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, interesting. Oh, wait a minute. Huge. Like, you know, I try to avoid huge maps, but I somehow always end up with large maps. I don't know why. Ah. Well, I think my maps are not like huge in the way that I would hit limits, I think. I haven't come across any bugs as far as I remember, and this is not the largest map I made. thing raise. That's what I needed. Door close. Let's see. Let's set this this battle up right here. Yeah, GZdoom. I know. This is actually GZdoom is once this mod is fully finished. The sequel, Annie 2. I actually wanted to make that in GZdoom. The stuff they do with the lighting is wild. No, is it Falcon Doom? Yeah. Is that the abbreviation? For VK? I don't know. Well, it might be. That is actually like, you know, that is the next, especially when it comes to lighting. It's insane. You wouldn't even, yeah. Okay. That is the next port for me, or the engine where I wanna, that I wanna fully explore for the sequel of Annie. Because it will take place in outer space, like, and I think it could benefit from a lot of these, you know, lighting, like especially like I kind of want to have this a little bit of Doom 3 / Dead Space vibe, with a little more action than horror, but kind of like a very nice mix between them. I did look up, but I don't think I know like to the full extent what the engine is capable of at the moment. I have to do a little bit of research on that. They also have dynamic shadows, right? As far as I remember. Do we put something on a loop here? Kind of forgot how it works. Two map one. Wow. Okay. I think I need this bit of code. Wait, tag weight. Tag weight 34, and then delay 35 times 2 seconds is enough. Maybe 3. Right, 18, and then while door open, tag 34, speed 24, light tag 0. I think that's it. Okay, let's try it. Unity is a horrible engine, yes indeed. Indeed it is. I feel like there should be better, like there are like Unity and Unreal, those are the engines like everybody's talking about, but are there better alternatives? Oh, I know, I worked with Unity when working on Core Decay. It was a disaster. The wait times. So inefficient. Action. I think when you pick it up. Resurrection Part 2. Okay. Make your own. Yeah, you have Redo. That's a fork. Apparently. Okay, so here we go. See if this actually works. Yeah. Here we go. Oh yeah, baby. Damn, the sound is... Jesus Christ. Okay, didn't fire a single shot here. Oh, God. Okay, no worries. We're gonna actually... I wanted to test it. I got too confident. Yeah, it's a fork. I think it has some improvements over Godot. But I think the main issue was that there was like this controversy with Godot, where they kind of like the community managers posted some political statement or takes. Well, it opens, so it works. And it kind of they started banning people from their Discord servers or something like that. For no apparent reason, yeah, over political shit indeed, and that's why they actually forked Godot into Redo. So it was a bad move from Godot, you know, and that was the reason. And then Redo was actually, but I'm not really sure if they. Well, I assume if they fork it, they made some improvements. Okay, so that works. Yeah, I kind of liked it. That's why I actually worked on the Game Boy game, because it's, well, it's still a lot of work, more than I thought. It's still small scale enough to do it on my own. Hey, Demon Joseph now, okay. Welcome back. High degree of control, yes indeed. Like, I think I need to outsource like the music maybe. Because I have absolutely no experience now. I could learn it, but I'm not really musically gifted. So I probably need to outsource that now. The rest I can have, like, I can do my own pixel art. True, true. Castlevania 2 soundtrack, yeah. Belmont's, that was actually, it's amazing. It's an amazing soundtrack. I think one of the best on Game Boy. Unfortunately, it doesn't really fit the like a sweet spot between Wario Land and Castlevania, maybe, or Mario Land 2. Also great music. Wario Land, also great music. I think it's somewhere in between, because it's not really Castlevania, it's not really Wario Land. But it's like, it's amazing what, like, how Wario-vania. Could that be like a new thing? Wario-vania. Warovania. Well, it does use a little bit of Metroid elements, like especially the levels, the progression system. Actually, let me show you real quick while we're at it. I let me let's see. Actually, I kind of worked on a boss. It kind of improved, you know, the giant spider thing. What was really difficult was actually, like, this moves the camera, obviously. I'll have to be quick about it, because it always pops up on the wrong screen. There we go. As you can see, this is the introduction to the spider. There we go. And you have to use the momentum. Now the thing is, there is one thing. You can actually shoot. There we go. I got myself killed. There we go. So this is basically the idea. It uses like randomized attacks, and it keeps into account if you're here. And if you're in the center, it will focus the, there we go, that was the other attack. Now you have to use the momentum of the spider. When the spider jumps, you get bumped in the air, and you can use that momentum actually to kind of reach the exposed part of the brain. Because you didn't acquire like the double jump yet. The only thing is, like, you have these collision things, right? And this is actually like an actor, which I use to program the movements and the attacks. And you can actually Well, it's kind of complicated because I use a custom. Basically, yes. Now the thing is, you have collision groups, right? And the only thing is, like, in this specific screen here, you have this on player hit. So you have to define what happens when a projectile hits the player. And projectiles, like the ones you saw here, the ones that come from the mandibles here, those have collision group 1. And the collision groups for projectiles are based on how they behave. Like, you got bouncing projectiles, you got projectiles that fly in a straight line, and you got arcs and stuff like that. And the thing is, this also is collision group 1, because I kind of want to have it both ways. Like, this trigger, if you jump on the brain, the spider gets damaged, and this one is actually, this is also equally as high, and this is actually a collision group because this reacts with the player projectiles. So if you shoot from here and it hits the brain, then the spider gets also damaged. But the downside is that this is collision group 1, and the attacks from the spider are also collision group 1. So that means if the player hits this, and that's what you saw in the beginning, you also get destroyed. So basically what I want is actually, if you kind of reach this area, turn the collision off, because you cannot use projectiles here anyway. And then if you're outside of this trigger area, you turn collision back on. But it's complicated. It's just a jumping. Too much Doom, yeah, indeed. So what I was thinking is actually, or use like a complex trigger system, or just ditch the projectile-based hits for the spider, and you could just, like, if I turn this off, collision group none for this actor, you cannot hit the brain with your projectiles, but you can just jump on it. See, like, there we go. And if you do this like this, and you shoot, see, it travels through. And the thing is, like, for this background to work, my first idea was to actually pin the player, but then the projectiles that are thrown, like the player projectiles, the offset is wrong. Because the projectiles are based on the camera position instead of the player position. So what I did to avoid this, and I experimented, like there must be a way, because Wario Land uses it as well. Right, you have a lot of camera movement, which works in actually not even vertically but horizontally as well. So there is a way, but like I said, there is where GameDev Studio is too limited. Yeah, you have, but the thing is, like, hold on, let me show you. You could use a different, but the thing is, the projectile collisions, if I use group 2, that means you can only touch, like, projectiles travel through group 2, and with 3, it's full collision, so the player gets blocked. Collision 1 is actually best because the player doesn't really touch, like the player can travel through, but projectiles still hit. And the thing is, these collision groups are also used for projectiles, their behavior, because I used like a plugin. The thing is, probably on an assembly level, you could do this easy, because Wario Land did it as well, I think. But GameDev Studio is too limited. And there's no such thing as a GBVM, like the virtual machine type of code for which I can use, but it's still not, there's no solution here. So it's a bit of a shame, but you can't have everything, I guess. Now in Wario Land, you also cannot hit the monsters with your fire you know, your fire attack. Like the large monsters, the bosses. Because they are basically just backgrounds. And they use like actors, invisible actors that I think travel along with the line of the camera. So to make sure that you actually hit the monsters in different positions. But you can actually pin the player, and there is a way to have the projectiles move along with the player. And you can actually do it in engine code. Yeah, true, but this is actually required if you want to play it on original hardware. So you can actually convert it into a full playable Game Boy ROM, which you can actually put on a cartridge. And that's not possible with Unity. So I have to use it. Because my assembly knowledge is basically non-existent, so... And it would take a long, long time. But eventually I kind of want to learn assembly. Or... Well, you can actually modify the engine as well. And that is in... I think it's in C. At least for Game Boy Studio uses that to kind of export. And then I think it converts it into assembly, I'm not really sure. No. It's a complicated process. I don't know, Festus, that's a bold statement. Because I have such a device, and I actually accidentally dropped it while it was still active, and it hurt. So I'm not really sure if you want to go that way. I went that way and it hurt, and it's like multiple times, right? Like it's not just once, it's like, I don't know, 200 times a minute. So at least I think I got about, I don't know, before I actually realized what was going on, I think I got about 10 stomps. So yeah, I wasn't feeling too good after that, so it's a bold statement. Trust me. Absolutely. I wouldn't touch Unity. Where's the elevator? I need to... I think... well, I have... Plus pay to wait. Oh man, I like the updating of the lighting in the editor. Jesus Christ, that's incredibly slow. And Core K used baked lighting, but you know, even on fairly small maps, the slowdown starts really fast. And sometimes you kind of want to like have to do a quick build to to see how it looks, but Jesus Christ, it's insane. And I've seen like from, if you look at some games which use actually like something like Game Maker, I think, or maybe like a different version, or actually the games you can put out with them is actually pretty, like, especially like when it comes to like these more retro old school games. Like for example, like a more advanced Game Boy game, for example, they're actually perfect for that. Yeah, true. But it felt like navigation even without. Let's put like the light baking aside. Like if your level kind of got a little bit larger, then like the camera movement, like everything was so incredibly slow. Like if I would drag like an asset in, it would sometimes take like 4 seconds for it to show up. That's insane. Like I couldn't work like that. I never use Unreal, so I wouldn't know. Oh, they did? Okay. Okay, now I have to figure out how this elevator thing works again. Did I use something here? I'm gonna have to block this one off as soon as you activate, just in case. Oh, okay. Oh, that's bad. I think, from what I heard, like a lot of people, I think, Unreal Engine is a little bit overrated. And I mean that in the sense of, I read like an article that says that many Unreal games kind of look a little bit samey. No, I haven't been keeping track of the modern, like the most recent AAA games, so I wouldn't know. So good. I don't know. Let's see. I wonder, could it be because wow. Okay. Man, that's insane. How can they expect you to work like fast if like everything the controls are different? Jesus Christ, that's insane. Imagine that. And you would think like it's been around for a long time, right? You'd think they fixed it by now. I mean, people have to complain about it, no? Here we go. Let's check this elevator. What the hell is this? Ah, wait, it's the link. 35, everything is 35. And that is 36. Okay, that makes sense. Let's see. Elevator. Okay, 36 is the tag. Sector set link. 36 is the main. 35. Okay. 36. Okay. Really? You know, that's it. Like, at some point, like if you don't keep up with improving the existing parts, then you kind of get lost completely if you keep introducing new stuff. I feel like it's important to like keep the base up to date as well and improved. Yeah. Otherwise, if you keep going on like that, they're gonna reach a point where it's impossible to ever fix it, because it's like there's too many systems that have to be adjusted. Sure. Okay, so the link, where was I? Okay. This is 112. Let's have a quick look. The Unreal way.
Hello there, fellow game developer. You were sent this video to help you with your Unreal Engine onboarding process. Unreal is one of the best known engines in the industry with 7 years. That being said, we are not afraid to push boundaries and set.
I'm gonna have to take a look at it offline.
Notice that once you do this, the editor will start aggressively flash at you. This means that you made it angry. Blueprints, which is what is known in the industry as a prefab. Not to be confused with Unreal.
Well, it's definitely going to be an interesting view. But you know, I'm not really intending on using Unreal Engine like ever, so I'm gonna try to stick to more simple games. First bet, yeah. Oh man, is that really like something simple like that? The capacity? Oh man, that's actually it's insane how far it can go. How many systems are dependent of each other? Damn. Wow. Okay, that's actually a pretty interesting example. Minus 4864. I have to check it out again. $740. Okay. False 3. Why did I use 3? Ceiling, true, floor, false. Okay, false and 3. Can't believe I figured that out. Ah, shit. I have to look at the script again. What? Really? Wow, okay, congratulations. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no idea either, but was pretty impressive. Wow. Can you post a link? Cave Crave, okay. Let's see if... Quest VR games. Cool. Yeah, for me it's in Flemish as well. Oh, looks pretty cool.
Play us and let the caves talk.
Oh, I'll show you real quick. Wow.
I'll explain everything, son. You just need to find me.
That's pretty cool. Nice. Every bit counts. Right, here we go. Jesus Christ. I look at it and I forget. 5120. It's probably not gonna be correct. Yeah, it looks very nice. I should definitely invest in a VR device as well. Even for Half-Life Alyx, which you got me very excited for. Okay, let's try, see if this works. I'm not really convinced, to be honest. Yeah. If I get a VR headset, I will. Though I watched quite a few documentaries on caving gone horribly wrong. So I'm not really excited for the caving part. Like, I don't understand what motivates people to kind of squeeze into these super tiny caves or passageways and then they got stuck. Jesus Christ, man. It's a terrible way to go. Is this so the player? Was the speed actually? It's kind of weird. What is wrong here? What is wrong? There's had to be something. Height 5120. Zero. Maybe it's this. What is the issue here? see. It's the speed. Because the elevator seems to be working fine. Yeah, the player just can't keep up. Let's see where the point is where yeah, this is, I think 64 is the limit. I'm severe. Yeah. Okay, let's use this just to make sure, because I don't want to calculate it. I wonder, is there a way to contain the player? Well, what do you know? That's almost correct. I could just stop right here, actually. Okay, I want like a turbo elevator. I can. Can you? Is there a way to? Nah. I assume there's like some kind of limit to this, to the speed. I think in real life, if an elevator goes down that fast, I think, you know, you're no longer subjected to the laws of gravity, I think. So it kind of is realistic in that sense. And then we have to do it with like this. I guess. There we go. Okay, that works. And then I want this to be super fast. Turbo. Okay. Let's see. Generic steerable. Let's. Okay. And then if wait I actually need two separate scripts. I switch void. Okay, and then if we press the switch, no wait, for this one we actually only need an increment of 1, that's all it does. If I switch equals, I think, do we have 3? Generic stairs. Oh god, here we go. Sector tag options. I assume these are flags. Nah, we can't move it. Oh shit. Now I've done it. Oh shit. Fuck. I messed up. I completely like. Wait. Whew. This bloody window here. 78, movement speed 4, step height 16, options 1. Can I remember that? Probably not. Tag. There we go. Oh god, the first thing, 78, 4, 16, 1. Zero. I think that should be it. Else. Is that correct? Not been declared. What the hell? Oh, wait a minute. Of course not. Else, I know. Okay, let's remove the else for a minute. We'll work on that because I just wanted to display a message. That's it. Okay, fellas. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm gonna leave it at that for today. I'll be back next week where we can actually start populating the level with monsters. And finally wrap this up, and then it's back to the hub area to kind of connect everything together and create the final boss area for episode 2. And then some music, footstep sounds. Well, there's still a little bit of work to do before I can actually release episode 2. But you know, we're getting there. Like, the end is in sight. Alright, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Take care. And Festus, again, congrats on the release. And I'll see you soon. Take care.